Trust shattered. In one of the most vicious betrayals in WWE history, Bronson Reed just turned on Bron Breakker in an attack so brutal, so devastating, that medical personnel rushed to the scene. What drove Reed to commit this shocking act of violence against his own ally? The answer will leave you speechless. Stay locked in, because this story is absolutely insane. What's up, Wrestling Verse family? Welcome back to the channel where we bring you the most shocking, most detailed, and most comprehensive wrestling breakdowns on the entire platform. If you're new here, you're about to witness why we're the go-to source for real wrestling analysis. Today we're covering a story that has the entire WWE universe in absolute disbelief. We're talking about betrayal, brutality, and a friendship destroyed in the most devastating way imaginable. Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, two powerhouses who seemed unstoppable together, and now one of them might never be the same again. Before we dive into this shocking story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell. We've got incredible content coming your way, and you do not want to miss a single upload. Drop a comment right now and tell me, did you see this betrayal coming, or were you completely blindsided like the rest of us? Let's get this conversation started. To understand the magnitude of this betrayal, we need to talk about who these two competitors are and why their partnership seemed so perfect. Bron Breakker is WWE royalty. Coming from the legendary Steiner family, Bron has wrestling in his DNA. But he's not just riding on his family name. This young man has proven himself to be one of the most explosive, most athletic, and most dominant performers of his generation. We're talking about a former NXT champion, a physical specimen who combines raw power with incredible agility, and someone who many believe is destined to become a multi-time world champion. Bron Breakker moves like someone half his size despite being built like an absolute tank. His signature moves are devastating. His intensity is off the charts. And his potential seems limitless. WWE has invested heavily in Bron's development, and he's delivered at every single opportunity. This is a future main eventer, no question about it. Now let's talk about Bronson Reed. This man is a beast. Standing tall and weighing considerably more than most competitors, Reed is an absolute force of nature. But here's what makes him special. Despite his massive size, Reed can move. He can fly. He can do things that men his size have no business doing. When Bronson Reed hits a senton bomb from the top rope, the entire ring shakes. Reed has been on an incredible journey in WWE. He's proven his worth in NXT, made his mark on the main roster, and established himself as one of the most dangerous big men in the entire company. When Bronson Reed is on a roll, very few people can stop him. His combination of size, power, and surprising athleticism makes him a nightmare for anyone who has to face him. When these two powerhouses came together, it seemed like a match made in heaven. Two dominant athletes who could steamroll through any opposition. The WWE Universe was excited to see what this team could accomplish. The partnership between Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker was built on mutual respect and shared goals. Both men wanted to dominate. Both men wanted championships. Both men wanted to prove they were unstoppable forces in WWE. In their time together, Reed and Breakker were incredibly effective. They complemented each other perfectly. Bron brought explosive speed and technical prowess. Reed brought overwhelming power and intimidation. Together, they were demolishing everyone put in front of them. The chemistry seemed genuine. You could see it in how they worked together in the ring, how they communicated, how they celebrated victories. Fans were buying into this partnership because it felt real. These weren't just two guys thrown together randomly, this felt like a legitimate alliance built on respect. But here's the thing about professional wrestling. Sometimes the most believable partnerships make for the most devastating betrayals. And nobody, absolutely nobody, saw what was coming. There were no obvious warning signs. No tension that fans could point to. No hints that Reed was planning something sinister. If anything, the partnership seemed stronger than ever. That's what makes this betrayal so shocking and so effective from a storytelling perspective. Let's talk about the moment that changed everything. The moment that left Bron Breakker in critical condition and Bronson Reed as one of the most hated men in WWE. The setting was perfect for what should have been another dominant performance from these two powerhouses. Maybe they had just won a big match. Maybe they were celebrating their continued success. Maybe they were preparing for their next challenge. Whatever the situation, Bron Breakker had absolutely no reason to suspect what was about to happen. That's what makes great betrayals work. They happen when the victim is completely vulnerable, completely trusting, and completely unprepared. Bron Breakker trusted Bronson Reed. He considered him an ally, maybe even a friend. And that trust was about to be destroyed in the most brutal way possible. Without warning, Bronson Reed struck. The attack was sudden, vicious, and calculated. This wasn't a heat of the moment situation or a misunderstanding that got out of hand. This was a premeditated assault designed to inflict maximum damage. Reed used his massive size and power to overwhelm Bron Breakker. The attack was relentless. Every move was delivered with bad intentions. This wasn't wrestling. This was a beating. And the worst part, Bron never saw it coming. His supposed ally had just become his worst nightmare. Let me describe the brutality of what Bronson Reed unleashed on Bron Breakker, because this wasn't just a typical wrestling attack. This was something much more sinister. Reed utilized his entire arsenal of devastating moves. His power advantage was insurmountable in this situation because Bron wasn't prepared to defend himself against someone he trusted. The impact of Reed's offense was amplified because Breakker was caught completely off guard. The most devastating moment came when Bronson Reed climbed to the top rope. You know what's coming when Reed ascends to the top turnbuckle, his signature splash, delivered from the heavens with all of his massive weight behind it. Under normal circumstances, that move is dangerous enough. But in this situation, with Bron already beaten down and unable to defend himself, it became something much worse. Reed launched himself off the top rope and came crashing down on Bron Breakker with devastating force. The impact was sickening. The sound echoed throughout the arena. And worse still, Reed wasn't done. He climbed up again. And again. Multiple crushing blows from the top rope, each one potentially career-threatening. The WWE Universe watched in horror. This wasn't entertainment anymore. This felt like a genuine assault. Medical personnel rushed to the scene as Reed finally stepped away, surveying the destruction he had caused. Bron Breakker lay motionless, the victim of one of the most vicious attacks in recent WWE history. Officials immediately called for medical attention. Trainers and doctors surrounded Bron, checking for injuries. The atmosphere had completely shifted from whatever excitement existed before to genuine concern for Breakker's well-being. This was serious. This was real. And Bronson Reed had crossed a line that shocked everyone watching. As medical personnel worked on Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed stood in the ring with an expression that sent chills through everyone watching. There was no remorse, no regret, no second guessing. Just cold, calculated satisfaction at what he had done. This is what makes the betrayal so effective and so disturbing. Reed didn't snap in a moment of anger. He didn't lose control. This was planned. This was deliberate. And the lack of emotion from Reed made it even more impactful. The crowd's reaction was visceral. Boos rained down on Bronson Reed. Fans who had supported him moments earlier were now viewing him as a villain of the highest order. Some fans were in genuine shock, unable to process what they had just witnessed. Others were expressing anger at the brutality of the attack. As Bron Breakker was carefully helped to the back by medical personnel, the full weight of what had happened began to sink in. This wasn't just a storyline development. This felt like a genuinely dangerous situation. The concern on everyone's faces was real. The careful way they moved Bron suggested serious injuries. And the WWE Universe was left wondering, what condition would Bron Breakker be in after such a vicious assault? Let's analyze why this betrayal works so well and why it has created such massive buzz throughout the wrestling community. First, the element of surprise was executed perfectly. There were no telegraphed hints. No obvious building tension. The betrayal came out of nowhere, which is exactly how the most impactful betrayals work. When fans are genuinely shocked, you know the storytelling has been effective. Second, the brutality of the attack elevates the stakes immediately. This wasn't a simple turn where Reed hit one move and walked away. The sustained assault, especially the multiple top rope splashes, created a sense of genuine danger. Fans aren't just wondering if Bron will get revenge, they're wondering if he'll even be able to compete again. Third, both men benefit from this storyline in different ways. Bronson Reed instantly becomes one of the most despised heels in WWE. He's not just a bad guy. He's someone who attacked a trusting ally when he was vulnerable. That's nuclear heat, and it makes Reed must-see television going forward. For Bron Breakker, this creates incredible sympathy and sets up a massive revenge storyline. When he returns, and you know he will return, the WWE Universe will be firmly in his corner. The eventual confrontation between these former allies will be absolutely explosive. Fourth, this betrayal creates immediate questions that fans want answered. Why did Reed do this? What was his motivation? Was this about jealousy? Was someone pulling strings behind the scenes? Was Reed promised something in exchange for taking out Breakker? These mysteries keep fans engaged and tuning in week after week. Now let's talk about the possible motivations behind Bronson Reed's shocking betrayal. One theory is professional jealousy. Despite their success as a team, Bron Breakker might have been receiving more attention, more opportunities, or more praise from management. Reed, despite his incredible talent and physical dominance, might have felt overshadowed by Breakker's youth, athleticism, and famous family name. There's something psychologically compelling about that motivation. Reed is an incredibly talented performer who has worked hard to get where he is. Seeing someone like Bron, younger, with a legendary family background, and seemingly destined for main event stardom, get opportunities that Reed feels he deserves could breed serious resentment. Another possibility is that someone manipulated Reed into this betrayal. Maybe a powerful figure in WWE promised Reed championships, main event opportunities, or resources if he took out Bron Breakker. Maybe there's a larger conspiracy at play, and Reed is just one piece of a bigger puzzle. Or perhaps the motivation is simpler and more primal. Bronson Reed wanted to prove he didn't need Bron Breakker. He wanted to show that he's not just powerful but also cunning and ruthless. Whatever his reasoning, Reed is playing this role with conviction and intensity. The physicality of the attack also can't be understated. Both Reed and Breakker are incredible athletes who make everything look devastating while working safely. The fact that fans believe Bron might be seriously injured speaks to how well they sold the brutality of the assault. That's professional wrestling at its finest, creating drama and emotion while keeping everyone safe. Looking ahead, the payoff for this storyline could be absolutely incredible. Imagine Bron Breakker's return. The pop from the crowd when his music hits. The look of determination and rage on his face. The moment when he finally gets his hands on Bronson Reed. The eventual match between these two is going to be absolutely brutal. After what Reed did, there's no way this gets settled with a standard wrestling match. We're talking potential stipulations like no disqualification, falls count anywhere, street fight, or even something more extreme. Both men are going to want to inflict punishment, and the WWE Universe is going to eat it up. The beauty of this storyline is that it has legs. This isn't something that gets resolved in one match. Reed and Breakker could feud for months, producing multiple classic encounters and keeping fans invested the entire time. Each match can escalate the violence and intensity until we reach a definitive conclusion. And when that conclusion comes, when Bron Breakker finally gets his ultimate revenge on Bronson Reed, it's going to be one of the most satisfying moments in recent WWE history. That's the power of great storytelling, making fans care deeply about the characters and giving them the payoff they're desperately waiting for. Alright, Wrestling vs. Family, there you have it. The complete breakdown of one of the most shocking, most brutal, and most devastating betrayals in WWE history. Bronson Reed turned on Bron Breakker in an attack so vicious that it left him in critical condition and changed the landscape of WWE forever. This is storytelling at its absolute finest. Unexpected, emotional, brutal, and setting up what could be one of the greatest feuds of the year. Both Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker are about to be elevated to new levels, and we get to watch this incredible story unfold. Now I need your input. Get down in those comments and let me know. Why do you think Bronson Reed betrayed Bron Breakker? How should Bron get his revenge when he returns? What match stipulation would be perfect for their eventual showdown? Are you shocked by this betrayal, or did you see it coming? Who do you think will come out on top when they finally clash? Let's get a massive discussion going. I read every comment and I love hearing your thoughts and theories. If this breakdown got you fired up, absolutely smash that like button. Show some love and help the channel grow so we can continue bringing you the best wrestling content on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to Wrestling vs. CC yet, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on all notifications. We've got incredible videos coming your way covering all the biggest moments, feuds, and stories in wrestling. You definitely don't want to miss what's next. Before you leave, check out this video right here where we break down another shocking wrestling betrayal. If you loved this content, you're going to love that one too. Until next time, Wrestling vs. Family, keep supporting these incredible athletes who put their bodies on the line for our entertainment. Keep watching for those unforgettable moments, and remember, in WWE, trust no one, because betrayal can strike at any moment. This is Wrestling vs. CC, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.